right, once you have downloaded your real estate collection zip, that'll be either in your downloads folder or on your desktop, depending on your computer. And if you're on a Mac or a PC, you'll either right click and extract, or if you're on a Mac like me, you can double click. It will automatically extract the files. Go ahead and move your zip to the trash. Double click on your real estate collection. Within there, you're going to see 3 folders of the different collections. So go ahead and open up Lightroom. We're going to go ahead and go up to Lightroom, and we are going to go to Preferences. From Preferences, make sure you're on the Presets tab, and then Show Lightroom Presets folder. Double click on Lightroom. Double click on Develop Presets. This is where all your preset folders are that are right here in your Presets panel. Go ahead and minimize these windows. You have your collection over here that you downloaded. Go ahead and highlight. You can hold down Command or Control and drop and drag those over. Right, you can go ahead and close this. So there's also a installation written form in here if you need that as well. All right, go ahead and close this. We're going to need to go ahead and restart our Lightroom, so those presets and the folders will show up right here in our presets panel. Skip, just a second. All right, we're going to relaunch Lightroom. All right, Lightroom has opened up for us. I have some images we're going to be processing down here and right here in our presets panel. Sometimes when you open up Lightroom, it can be over here on library. So just click the develop module right here. This might be up. Go ahead and click the down arrow and all of our presets are here. So it's the exterior HDR Lightroom presets, interior HDR, and then we have the real estate color correct presets. All right, so for this exterior photo and the majority of exterior photos, I don't color correct the majority of the time. I just go ahead and go into the exterior HDR presets. This reset is going to take off any filter you apply to it. So we are going to go ahead and go to our presets and just kind of go through them. Little description of each one. So these are all for exterior photos. These are going to apply an HDR look with a different variation. Like this one will be bright, this one will be cool, this will darken your highlights. So it's kind of a click through and see what works best for your image. These finishers will add different amounts of brightness or contrast, anything like that that you might need. Alrighty, so for this image, I usually just start with bright. Bright's a really good starting point, and also standard is. Since it is twilight in this image, there are some twilights as well. So we'll just do a quick click through, show you the before and after. And so bright looks pretty good, a little too bright. Cool looks good, takes down some of the warmth. We can look at the standard. Standard looks great, that's the one I used for the before and after. And then we also have Twilight, Twilight 2, and Twilight 3. So just different variations depending on where the lighting was. But I really liked how standard looked, so that would be a perfect edit for this, because as you can see, it brought up all the shadows. It definitely brought some more vibrancy to the sky and also brought a lot more saturation and depth to this image. So I would actually just do that one click and leave this one as is. We'll go to our next image, another exterior photo as well. Like again, I try to start out with bright first, and I think that one looks good. It brought a lot of brightness, a lot of crispness. We can also try standard. And we can click through as well. This would be a vibranter version. This would give it a medium instead of a super strong HDR look. Light and shadows will give it an HDR, but not as dark, so it brought up the shadows a lot. And this would be a really good point for this image too. Okay, we have another exterior image. This again was at twilight. We'll go ahead and see what our twilights are going to do. So Twilight 1 will definitely bring up the shadows, but also bring a lot of saturation and depth to the sky, and it will warm it up so you get those nice, vibrant, warm windows when your lights are on there at night. And 2 is just a little more extreme, and then again 3 is a little darker as well. Depending on where you want to go with your image, you can use the standard, but I really like the way Twilight looks on this. You want to keep it darker because that's why you shot it at Twilight, to show all those beautiful warm hues. All right, our next image is a standard, kind of middle of the day, overcast sky. And this one, I think we would do a standard as well. To me, that looks really good. Like I said, it brought a lot of crispness, sharpness, and vibrancy, and definitely brought out the sky as well. So for most cases, standard is going to work well. You would use cool if the image was too warm, and then you would want to use the warm if the image was too cool. And like I said, a lot of it is just kind of clicking through depending on your shooting style and your conditions and seeing what works well for you. All right, next we're going to move on to a bathroom situation. So you have two options with your interiors. You can color correct down here. It won't add an HDR look, but it will give it a nice clean look to your images. And so depending on whether you want HDR or just a color corrected look will depend on what you use. If you just want to go with a color corrected clean look, we'll use the real estate color correct presets. And so I made some specifically for bathrooms. In bathrooms, you want the whites really white. You don't want yellows and browns. So there's some specific presets just to use on bathrooms, which is the best bathroom interior presets. And as you can see, you can click through. I really like this. It left a lot of the vibrancy, didn't take out too much yellow, but as you can see, the whites are a lot whiter. Just makes it look really bright and clean like a bathroom should. Opens up the space. So that's good. Another option would be to use the interior HDR preset. So these are going to be for any interior photos that you want them to have the HDR effect. So on this, since it was pretty warm, you can try the best cool, which usually does a really good job cooling it down. There's also a cool 1, a cool 2, and a cool 3. So just depending on where your image is, with your starting point and white balance will depend on which preset you use here as well. We can try our best cool. I think that one looks really great if you're looking for the HDR look, but a little bit on the cool side because your image was too warm. Like I said, just a quick click through and you can easily find out which ones work best for your images. We're gonna go to our next image. So this is just an interior photo, and we're gonna do some color correcting on this. So the best presets to use on the interiors if you're just going for a color corrected look are the whites white. These are just going to completely get that yellow out in different levels. So as you can see, this, I think this is perfect. It definitely brightened it. The whites are absolutely white and there's still quite a bit of color there. And as you can see, as you click through, it adds different variations of color in there while keeping the whites white. So definitely these are a go-to for your starting point for your interior photos. Go to another situation. As you can see, this image was pulling super cool. And so as you can see, we can click through. The whites white really isn't going to do much to a super cool image. We're going to want to use an interior warmth. As you can see, it warmed it, but also brightened it. Also, we have an interior auto white balance. That one works really good too, to give you a good starting point. Let's take a look. What else would be good for this image? We also have some auto toning in here. Adds more contrast to your image. You can add color saturation, lightening. So there are some exteriors in here as well. And we're going to look at the HDRs on this image as well. There is a really good HDR too with an auto white balance. So this one would probably be what I would use for this. It warmed it up quite a bit. As you can see, the image should be a little bit warmer. You want the space to look inviting, not too cool and not too bright or not too dark. So you gotta find that perfect spot for your image. This one is gonna put that same effect on there and just brighten it. So like I said, if your image is cool, we'll warm it. If it's too warm, we wanna cool it. And this image was just looking kind of bland, a little boring. I mean, the space was showcased well, but it's just not doing a whole lot for this image. So we'll try our interior HDR. As you can see, that alone just really makes the image pop. And standard, like I said, is always a good one to do. This one wasn't really pulling any specific color. The white balance was good on this image. So brightening it up would probably be a good point in this image. So we used interior HDR best bright. That's going to give a mild HDR effect as well as brighten the entire image. As you can see, it just really showcases the space well. All right, as you can see with these 3 different collections, you can get a variety of toning, brightness, HDR, and color correcting. It's just kind of a little, you have to play with them a little bit to see what's right for your specific image. And like I said, the best ones to start out with are always like for exteriors, try the exterior bright, try the standard, and if it's twilight is always the best go-to ones. For interior, if you're wanting it to look HDR, the standard is always really good, as well as saturated. And then if you're doing any color correcting for the interior or exterior, always, like I said, if it's too cool, go to a warm. If it's too warm, go to a cool. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any questions, feel free to message me or leave a comment. You can also email us at lewandmarks@gmail.com. We're always happy to help you process your photos and give you pointers on processing if you're having any trouble figuring out which presets work best for your images. Thank you. Bye.